How many guys you got?
Picture this, a dimly lit bar, the air thick with smoke and tension. In walks Benny, a rugged biker with an air of nonchalance, settling in for a quiet drink. Little does he know his peaceful evening is about to be shattered. Two burly men, their eyes glinting with malice, sidle up to Benny. "That jacket's gotta go, pal," they sneer, "or you're out." Benny, cool as ice, doesn't even spare them a glance. This silent treatment only serves to stoke their fury, and soon fists are flying.
You'd have to kill me to get this jacket off.
Now let's pull back the curtain on The Bike Riders, a gritty tale inspired by true events. Our guide through this wild ride? Kathy, a woman whose heart was stolen by Benny, a rebel without a cause and proud member of the Vandals motorcycle club. Picture Kathy, her eyes distant with memories, as she recounts her story to Danny. The interviewer leans in, captivated, while other biker wives chime in with their own colorful anecdotes. Kathy's voice trembles as she recalls her first encounter with the Vandals. It was a fateful night when she ventured into their lair, an errand for a friend turning into so much more. The club's atmosphere was electric, danger lurking in every shadow. Enter Crocky and Wahoo, two smooth-talking bikers who set their sights on the newcomer. Kathy, however, was on a mission. Brushing past their advances, she scanned the room for her friend. Finally spotting her familiar face, Kathy approached the table. There, she was introduced to a man with an unusual moniker.
They call me Cockroach.
Oh, why'd they call you a stupid name like that?
Like these bugs, you know?
Little did she know, this bizarre encounter was just the beginning of her journey into the heart of the Vandals. Imagine the scene, Crocky and Wahoo, persistent as ever, circling back to Kathy like moths to a flame. She deftly deflects their advances, conjuring up a phantom boyfriend as her shield. But fate has other plans. As Kathy rises to leave, her eyes lock onto Benny, a vision of rugged charm that stops her in her tracks. The air crackles with unspoken tension. Later, when the crowd thins, Benny makes his move, only to be rebuffed by Kathy's imaginary bow. Enter Johnny, the club's president, with an air of authority that parts the crowd.
What is this, a rotary buffet?
He quips, eyeing Kathy. Their exchange is brief, laden with unspoken warnings and forced pleasantries. Outside, the night air thick with anticipation, Kathy waits for her bus. Suddenly, the roar of engines announces the Vandals' exodus. Amidst catcalls and jeers, she makes a split-second decision, choosing Benny's bike over the others. The ride is exhilarating, Benny's scent intoxicating, but her elation turns to frustration when he circles back to the club. Post-drinks, they arrive at her place, greeted by her furious boyfriend. Kathy, caught between anger and attraction, retreats inside. Benny, undeterred, keeps vigil on his bike all night. Come morning, Kathy's resolve crumbles.
Well, you better go home. When my boyfriend gets back from work and you're still sitting there, he's gonna be pissed. You're crazy.
Their whirlwind romance culminates in marriage after just 5 weeks. Fast forward to Danny's interview, where Kathy delves into Johnny's story. The Vandals' genesis, it turns out, was born from a TV show and Johnny's restless ambition. Johnny, a family man with a wife and 2 daughters, saw Benny as his protégé. His journey from racing enthusiast to club president is a tale of vision and determination.
I'm thinking of starting a riding club.
All those clubs do is sit around talking about motorcycles.
From those humble beginnings, the Vandals grew, 12 members strong, each with their own quirks and skills. There's Brucey, the electrician, and Johnny's right-hand man. Cal, the mechanic with unfulfilled military dreams. And let's not forget Cockroach, Jack, and the others, each a character in their own right. As Kathy's tale unfolds, one can't help but wonder, what wild adventures await this motley crew of bikers? And how will Kathy's life change now that she's part of this unconventional family? The air crackled with tension as Jack, revealing his volatile nature, confronted Johnny. His request to expand the club met with firm resistance, igniting a fierce challenge.
Hey, you said if any of us disagrees with you, we could challenge you, so I guess I'm challenging you.
Fists? Or knives?
Well, I don't want to kill you.
In the wake of this confrontation, the Vandals experienced explosive growth. Their presence became impossible to ignore, drawing longing stares from onlookers during their thunderous rallies. At a car show, they commanded attention, only to face off against the Gary Roos, a rival biker gang. As tensions escalated, Johnny attempted diplomacy, but Benny's fists did the talking. The ensuing brawl was chaos incarnate. Johnny, ever the peacemaker, managed to cool tempers, leading his men to a nearby watering hole for a heart-to-heart. But storm clouds were gathering. Some members, hungry for power, urged Johnny to steer the club towards a darker path of crime and violence. Johnny, eyeing retirement, groomed a reluctant Benny for leadership. Fate, however, had other plans. A vicious attack left Benny hospitalized, robbed of his foot and his passion for riding. Kathy, recounting the tale to Danny, remembered the heart-wrenching sight of her tough-as-nails husband reduced to tears.
You don't see that guy shed a tear. The closest I ever seen him come to it was that day.
Johnny's reaction was volcanic. In a fury, he gathered the Vandals, hell-bent on vengeance. The club of Benny's attackers was reduced to ashes, their legs shattered in retribution. During Benny's recovery, Kathy became his rock, relocating him to a more accessible home and filling his days with distractions. But Johnny's frequent visits, filled with talk of riding again, set Kathy on edge. After weeks of mounting frustration, she issued an ultimatum: the club or her. To her dismay, Benny chose the former. Desperate, Kathy confronted Johnny, pleading for Benny's safety. If he rides again, he'll die, she warned, her voice trembling with fear and anger. But Johnny stood firm, insisting the choice was Benny's alone. He's a grown man, he argued, unmoved by Kathy's declaration of love. As Kathy stormed away, the air thick with unresolved tension, one couldn't help but wonder, would Benny risk it all for the thrill of the ride? Could Kathy's love compete with the allure of the open road? And how far would Johnny go to keep his protégé in the fold? The stage was set for a showdown that would test the limits of loyalty, love, and the biker code. Picture a sun-drenched afternoon, the Vandals and their families gathered for a picnic. As day fades into night, the atmosphere shifts with the arrival of Sonny, a catalyst for storytelling and reminiscing. Amidst the laughter and clinking of bottles, Johnny pulls Benny aside for a heart-to-heart.
I can't run this club forever, I'm gonna have to find somebody to take it over,
What about Brucey?
Brucey. Yeah, I love Brucey like a brother, but it ain't Brucey,
Brucey, he'd be eaten alive. We need someone strong, someone respected. Johnny's words hang in the air, charged with meaning. I built this club from nothing, he continues, passion evident in every word. This is my family. These guys, they won't follow just anyone. It takes someone who can hold their own. Benny shifts uncomfortably, sensing the direction of the conversation. You got a house, a job? Johnny presses. Benny's response is quick, almost defensive. I don't want that. I don't care about none of that. Johnny's voice softens. Hey, just think it over, As they rejoin the group, Sonny's teasing of Cal elicits raucous laughter. But Kathy's eyes are fixed on Benny and Johnny, her mind racing to decipher their hushed exchange. Later, as Benny and Kathy ride home, an unsettling silence stretches between them. In the present, Kathy reflects to Danny, her voice tinged with resignation. Every woman tries to change her man for the better. We always fail. She pauses, lost in thought. I always felt Benny wanted to leave. Even when Brucey died, he didn't show any emotion. Her voice catches as she adds, I miss Brucey. The club was never the same after he was gone. The memory of Brucey's death hangs heavy in the air. Kathy recounts how the club sent flowers only to have them returned by Brucey's family, a stark rejection of the biker lifestyle. Johnny, ever the leader, decides to take matters into his own hands. We're going as a group, he declares, his tone brooking no argument. Bring flowers. We'll pay our respects together.
Get out of here.
As Kathy finishes her tale, one can't help but wonder, will this gesture of unity be enough to hold the club together in the face of mounting pressures? The night unfolds with Johnny in a rare moment of vulnerability, recounting a poignant tale of a man's enduring love for his motorcycle. His storytelling is interrupted by the arrival of a young group, the Renegades, seeking membership in the Vandals. Johnny, emotional and skeptical, initially dismisses them as children. The leader, claiming to be over 20, impresses Johnny with their self-organized bikes. In a test of loyalty, Johnny offers the leader a spot, provided he abandons his friends. The boy's quick acceptance, however, backfires, revealing a lack of loyalty that Johnny finds distasteful. The rejection leaves the young leader seething.
Now. Hey, Johnny, hey!
Fast forward to Danny's interview with Kathy. He's curious about the club's fate after Brucey's death and his own departure in 1973. Kathy's eyes cloud over as she recounts the club's decline. It was like watching a family tear itself apart, she begins. Old members versus new. The club Johnny built was crumbling. She paints a vivid picture of the clubhouse, a haze of smoke, alcohol, and drugs. Cockroach, planning his exit to become a motorcycle cop, becomes a target. New members, fueled by aggression and likely substances, leave him battered on the floor. Johnny, alerted to the situation, rushes Cockroach to the hospital with Benny in tow, leaving Kathy vulnerable. The scene turns ugly as new members harass her, her screams piercing the air until Johnny's return. His fury unleashed, he dispatches the offenders swiftly. Cockroach, bruised and broken, returns seeking protection as he leaves the club. Johnny, despite the turmoil, agrees to help. The tension ratchets up as Benny prepares to meet Johnny, arming himself, but before he can leave, C appears, demanding a conversation. Kathy's voice trembles as she concludes. It was like watching a powder keg about to explode. The Vandals we knew were gone, replaced by something darker.
You weren't there!
What do you want me to do?
I want you to quit writing. I want you to quit the club.
Don't ask that.
The tension mounts as Johnny, armed and determined, leads a confused Benny to Cockroach's house. In a shocking turn of events, Johnny shoots Cockroach's leg, with his consent, to frame the new members. Benny, visibly shaken, confronts Johnny about the club's future. "This isn't our club anymore," Benny says, his voice laced with disappointment. Johnny, sensing the shift, reveals his true intentions. He wants Benny to take over, but Benny, torn between loyalty and his own principles, rejects the offer and walks away, leaving Kathy behind at the club. Meanwhile, the young leader returns, now bearing the colors of the Milwaukee Vandals. His challenge to Johnny for leadership echoes through the clubhouse. "Fists or knives?" Johnny asks, his voice steady. "Knives," the kid replies, sealing their fate. As the day of reckoning approaches, Johnny's domestic life provides a stark contrast. His wife's simple request for eggs humanizes the hardened biker. A visit to Kathy's house in search of Benny adds another layer of complexity to the unfolding drama. The scene shifts to the fateful parking lot. The Vandals arrive in cars, a sign of changing times. Johnny, knife in hand, faces his challenger. What transpires next is left to our imagination, but the outcome is clear. Johnny falls, and with him, the golden age of motorcycles. Kathy's voice, tinged with nostalgia and regret, paints the aftermath. Once Johnny was gone, everything changed. The kid took over, turning the Vandals into a real gang. They spread across the Midwest, bigger than ever. The old guard scatters, some leaving town, others reluctantly joining the new regime. The Vandals, once a brotherhood of riders, transform into a criminal enterprise under the kid's leadership. As Kathy concludes her tale, we're left to ponder the cost of this transformation. What became of Benny and Kathy? How did the remaining original members adapt to this new world? And what legacy did Johnny leave behind? As Kathy's tale draws to a close, she paints a bittersweet picture of the Vandals' fate. Crocky and Wahoo, once vibrant characters, now linger in the shadows of the transformed club. Sonny, reduced to earning pocket change outside a theater, serves as a stark reminder of how far they've fallen. Cockroach's story offers a glimmer of hope. He's achieved his dream of becoming a motorcycle cop, a rare, happy ending in this turbulent saga.
We moved down here to Florida.
Zipco's return to Texas marks another departure from the once tight-knit group.